weekend on the entire sports calendar. Divisional round weekend. Favorite weekend of the year.
I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about other weekends that I like. Let's start with Cowboys 49ers. All-pro player and content provider Micah Parsons delivered yet again. Take a listen.
I'm super excited. This is who I wanted. I mean, people like to go around, if they lose here, this the three-headed dragon. We need to cut off one of the heads off. And that's what everybody's saying. We hear it. Everybody, no way the Cowboys are going to win. No way. Honestly, I think you should feed into, you should love that stuff. Like, when no one believes in you, that's the best feeling. Like, not when everyone believes you and the Kool-Aid's up and everyone's smiling and they're like, they can't lose. They're too good. You don't want that feeling because then it's like, what if I don't win? When you're already at the bottom, you can only go up, you know? So I really like to be an underdog and that feeling. It's a great story always to tell.
I love it.
Yeah.
Three-headed dragon, is that just offense, defense, special?
I'm not quite sure, but I'll tell you this much, Micah Parsons. You're about to feel great. If you like when people count you out and say you got no shot, I hope he's watching right now. They're playing a juggernaut. The San Francisco 49ers, if they had an elite quarterback, would be in the discussion for the best team we've ever seen.
Wow.
And I understand.
What?
If the San Francisco 49ers had a great quarterback, this year's team would be in the discussion as one of the all-time greatest teams.
They got to get a little further, and I think they will.
Right, of course. Of course. I'm talking about talent and what they would be. So what they've done over the last 3 months, I think, has been underrated. So the last 3 months, since the Chiefs went to San Francisco and put it on them, it's not only that they haven't lost, and they have annihilated their opposition. They are winning by an average of 3 scores. They have 8 double-digit wins. They are averaging more than 2 takeaways per game. And the reason they can do that is because they are the only team in the league, no one else is even close, that has a first-team All-Pro in every positional meeting. On the D-line, Nicky Bosa's there. And by the way, so are Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw. Right. Linebacker room. You've got Fred Warner, the best in the league, along with Dre Greenlaw, who's awesome. Defensive backs room, the best safety in the league, Hufanga. Offensive line room, the best tackle in the league. Running backs room, arguably the best running back. Tight ends room, second best tight end. And wide receiver room, one of the best in Deebo Samuel. That is every single room you go into. You have one of, if not the best in the league. And by the way, they don't have first-team All-Pro coaches, but they do have Coach of the Year awards. And I think Kyle Shanahan might win it this year. So he's certainly going to be on the very short list. So it's not me writing off the Cowboys, as some on this show have done many times, only to write them back in. It is me simply saying I think, Wild, that the Niners are a juggernaut. And the Cowboys, they're fortunate to only be 3.5-point underdogs. I think the line's too short.
So those are excellent graphics. I enjoyed all of them.
Thanks, buddy.
The reason I was able to accurately pick Cowboys over Bucks is because I looked coldly at the facts. And I said, one team is scoring, and you remember the other team is boring. Now, it's tricky because the 49ers aren't boring. They are also scoring, but just not as much as the Cowboys. So here are the cold, hard facts. We should get a Coors Light sponsorship. Ramsey, can you look into that, please? Since week 7, offensive points, the Cowboys score more. Touchdowns, the Cowboys. 400-yard games, Cowboys. Passing yards per game, Cowboys. And red zone touchdowns is the Cowboys. I understand that the 49ers have a great offense, but it feels like, just like we did when they were playing the Bucs, everyone is just going to forget about how dynamic the Cowboys offense is. And I think you're staked to your position because you're more of like a feelings over facts guy. You refuse to move.
Dreams, picks,
dreams. You literally, you carry on national television, and you said, I had a dream about this.
May I say something? It would be one thing if my preseason Super Bowl prediction was a bad team, as opposed to the best team in the league.
But you're not moving.
So, of course, or like the Packers, who Brew, stayed with them until they were eliminated.
Brew, however, can be swayed by facts and coaching analysis.
I can be swayed.
Yeah. No. That was an interesting graphic.
But those were so close. 31.2 or whatever it was to 30.3.
Well, it's going to be a close game.
I mean, they were close. Here's the problem, though, Wiles, and I'm with Nick. I got San Francisco. You know, I mean, I've been on Dallas. I've said two things about them all year.
F game.
Well, the number
I'm just
one
trying
was
to get
that
you
they
to do it
won't
again.
reach the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
right? I've said
That
that,
one
even
wasn't
though
as
they got
catchy as
talent.
F game.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the reason they won't reach the Super Bowl is because I've said they are so inconsistent and just as likely to bring the F game as they are the A game,
Catchier.
C, D game, something like that. But here's the thing,
CD
Wiles.
game is-
This is a fact, though, that you're not looking at.
Okay, go.
San Francisco is terror against the run. They give up 77 yards a game rushing. That means they make everybody look like Tampa Bay. All right, and
about
on top
Thunder
of
and
that, Dallas. Now I like Pollard and Zeke, but Dallas
still
hasn't
like
been
Zeke?
running the as a tandem. I like Pollard better, but as a tandem. But check this out: we Dallas has a good run game, but the last 5 games. All 5, they've averaged under 4 yards per carry. That's the longest streak among the teams remaining with that. Look at that. They are not running the ball well lately. And so against San Francisco, they won't be able to run. So guess what? It's going to be in Dak's
And Dak's
hands.
gonna turn
And
it
Dak
over.
won't, because you're going to ask Dak to carry you. He's an elite game manager, to use Nick's term. He's going to have to turn into the guy that can put you on his back and carry you. And that's when the interceptions
I'll
come.
take it.
Listen, I don't think there's any shame in Dallas in going on the road and losing to the most talented team in the league. And that's what people have to wrap their minds around. San Francisco has, the whole Shanahan era, had a question mark at the most important position in the league. But everywhere else, they're fantastic. Their second best receiver is awesome. Their second best tackle is awesome. They have 3 great defensive linemen, 2 great linebackers, at least 2 great members of their secondary.
Right.
And because of that, I think, and because of Brew's point, Wilds, that you're not going to be able to run the ball consistently. I do think Dak is going to be forced to throw the ball, and he can make some big plays, but I don't think the league leader in interceptions, after playing a totally clean game last week, is going to do that in back-to-back weeks against this team.
Let's talk about Josh Allen. He put a bevy of points on the scoreboard. Last week, the Bills scored 34, but his fumble and 2 interceptions led to 18 points for the Dolphins. Here's how Josh is approaching the Cincinnati game.
Obviously, we want to end the ball or end every possession with the ball in our hands, whether it's a touchdown, punting it away or kicking a field goal, and that's our mindset that'll never change. And there is a thin line between being aggressive and being a little bit reckless. So again, just getting back on the right side of that line and being smart, but not being conservative.
Okay. Expecting a clean game from Josh Allen.
No.
I knew it. I knew it.
Okay.
Because in 14 of his 17 games this year, he had a turnover.
Yeah.
Whether it's an interception,
Throw
in
my
10 of
graphic
them,
up while
or a
Brew's talking,
fumble.
so it illustrates it.
So, but yet in those 14 games, guess what? They're 11-3.
Exactly.
And they beat Nick's Chiefs. I'm not even gonna say what they did when they went into Arrowhead. Because I've been saying it all week. I might say it. I'm tempted to say
Because it was
it.
3 months ago. Can you please remind the audience that what you always do the refrigerator in the car and everything?
I like that.
That was a 4-point game. That was a 1-score game. They won the game, but that was a back and forth.
Okay, you're gonna force me to say it.
What'd
I
they
was
do?
gonna let you slide, but now I'm gonna have to say it. They went into your house and they opened your refrigerator and raided it.
Yep.
They slept in your bed. They got up in the morning, used your toothbrush, and then they took your car and drove it without asking.
Did they
That's
bring
what
it
they
back?
did. No, they kept it.
Oh!
All right, so they also beat Baltimore with him making a turnover.
Yeah.
So look, here's the deal. You can live with 1 turnover. But you can't live with multiple turnovers, and you can't live with the big pick 6.